since last Monday. I guess at this time, two would be a quorum. So we'll go ahead and get started. And I know that Ms. Chado's not feeling well. We'll go ahead and proceed. Again, welcome. I believe most of you probably have the agenda um, on you. And we also have a website that we have the agenda on as well. So yeah, for those of you that are on call. So I'll go ahead and officially call the meeting to order at 6:08, and with two Dream Dinner Counseling Council members on the call, so which constitutes a quorum. So with that, we'll go ahead and go down to B, roll call. And normally we have our secretary that will provide the roll call, but since we're still in the process of restructuring and resetting our governing board members, I'll go ahead and do the roll call. So at this time, um, Veronica So is the president, and I am present. Um, we don't have a vice president. We don't have a secretary. Kirby Johnson, are you on the call?
Yes, I am here.
Okay, thank you. Kalaba Begay. Okay, she's not on the call yet. So with that, we have two governing board members present for today's meeting. And then for staff, Nadine Chado, head administrator.
Good evening, everyone. I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chado. Charlotte Archuleta.
I'm here.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Archuleta. So we have two staff members on the call, and I noticed that we do have our IT person also on the call as well. So going down, C, opening comments. And this is something that we had we put this opening comments on the agenda, and this was made from the previous board membership, and we just kind of wanted to kind of reflect back, or really going back to our vision and mission statement. We read our mission statement at this time, and if anybody would like to share, it doesn't necessarily have to be board members. So it could be open to staff as well. So I'm not too sure if anyone has any opening comments. And if you do, you have the floor. Danish. If not, I'd like to ask Mr. Kirby Johnson if he has an opening comment.
None at the moment. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So with that being said, I'll go ahead and read our mission. Dream Dine is a place-based elementary school where the Dine Navajo culture, language, and history are the foundation of an experimental curriculum. Through a dual language program, we will nurture strong, compassionate, bilingual young people who are committed to their personal and community health, wellness, relationships, and progress. So that is our mission statement for Dream Dine. So that would be part of our opening comments. Akihat nana kwa nkano yani, and then those of you that are on the call. So going down to D, approval of agenda. So I'll go ahead and read the agenda into the record. But before we before I read the approval of the agenda into the record, I do need to appoint a pro temp secretary. to take minutes for today's meeting. And I know we only have one board member on the call. So, Mr. Johnson, I guess that if I could appoint you to be our pro temp secretary for tonight's meeting for the record, and to, I guess, go ahead and take the minutes for tonight.
Sure.
Okay, thank you. Yeah. Um, going down to going back down to letter D, approval of the agenda, and I'll go ahead and read that into the record. So the agenda for today for Dream Diné Charter School Governing Council meeting, Monday, December 16, 2024 at 6 p.m. And it's either we're a hybrid model as far as conducting our meeting. So A, we have called the meeting to order. B, roll call. A, governing council members. 1, Veronica So, president. 2, vacant vice president. 3, vacant secretary. 4, Kirby Johnson, member. 5, Talaba Begay, member. B, staff. 1, Nadine Chatto, head administrator. 2, Charlotte Archuleta, financial manager. C, opening comments. D, approval of agenda. E, approval of minutes, which would be the Dream Diné special board meeting that was held on November 18, 2024. Um, Regular governing council meeting that was held on November 25th, 2024. And then we had a Dream Diné special meeting that was held on December 9th, 2024. F, public comments. Limit time is 3 minutes. G, discussion and possible action items, which would be A, new member Adam Jerome Begay. B, membership renewal Veronica So. C, governing board assurances for annual compliance requirement for indicator 3.C. D, NISN MOU agreement. E, discussion, vision statement, mission, vision driven learning team. F, work session dates. G, financial school budget report. 1, school financial report, revenues, expenditures by grants, revenue streams, bank reconciliations, outstanding POs. 2, bars, journal entries. 3, budget updates, approval budget, salary schedules, calendar, etc. 4, new grant for approvals, if any. Letter H, governing council committees. 1, finance committee. 2, audit committee. 3, facilities committees. 4, grievance committee. 5, governing council training. All governing council members need to complete 5 hours of training. 8, a general reminder that all governing council members are required to complete 8 hours of training. That would be all new governing council members. H, facilities/land. I, student enrollment. J, head administrator principal report. K, parent advisory committee report. L, next governing council meeting. M, closing comments. And N, adjournment. So at this time, I did read the agenda into the record with just a minor correction with under H, um, item 5, under A would be a general reminder that all new governing council members needs to be inserted under line A. So with that being said, what's the pleasure of the board to approve the agenda as read into the record? If there's any other amendments?
This is Kirby Johnson. I approve to approve the agenda. I make a motion to approve the agenda with the correction to HA for new governing council with 8 hours.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for making the motion, for approving the agenda into the record, and then also with the minor correction under H, line item A. With that, I will go ahead and second that as well. So, if there's no other comments or questions, then we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Um, Mrs. So, how do you vote? I vote in favor. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
I vote in favor as well.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. So with that, we have two governing council members approving the agenda as read, with the minor correction under item H, under line A, with zero opposition and zero abstention. So motion carries with 2-0-0. Okay. Yeah, thank you. And I just want to also um, let our visitor know, and then also our new board member know that we do a live streaming on our meetings, our monthly meetings with Dream Dine, and then we also record the meeting as well. So just for your information. Thank you. So going down to letter E, approval of meeting minutes, and I'm not too sure, Mr. Johnson, if Mr. Lander was able to connect you with our Google Drive to have access to our meeting minutes. Uh-oh, now we're being recorded.
Sorry about that. I forgot.
Thank you, Nadine. So, going back to Mr. Johnson, I don't know if Lander was able to connect you to our Google Drive to where all of our minutes are stored.
Yes, I was forwarded all this information beforehand, before the meeting started. So I did read and I did look over the minutes for all 3 meetings.
Okay. So at this time, I'm not too sure. Is Talaba on the call?
Mm,
No, I
I
don't
don't
see
see
her.
her.
Okay. Alrighty. So we're a two-man show here. So um, before we make a motion,
Lander has his hand raised.
yeah. So Mr. Morris, if you can proceed with your question.
Yes, good evening. I can add him to all the other drives that he needs to be added, Kirby needs to be added to as well, but we did get him all the information that he needs. So I'll go ahead and add you to all the drives that you need to be added to, Kirby, for all the shared documents, if that hadn't been done yet already. But we'll get you set up.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Morris, for that information. And so there is, we are going back to item E, approval of the meeting minutes, as Mr. Johnson indicated that he was able to have access to the meeting minutes. So at this time, what is the pleasure of the board members on approving the agenda or approving the minutes? I'm not too sure if you want to combine all three of them or if you want to just go ahead and motion to do each one of them separately.
I'll make a motion to combine all 3 of them for Dream Dine special meeting on November 18th, 2024, then the Dream Dine regular governing council meeting on November 25th, 2024, and then the Dream Dine special meeting on December 12th, December 9th, 2024.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. There is a motion on the floor to go ahead and
But-
approve.
Excuse me, Veronica. I
Yes.
don't know if you remember me mentioning that on the 11/25, we had to change the minutes. to add the bar because PD didn't have the fund set up, but the board did approve. And the bar number is not on the minute, so I just wanted to add it.
Okay. Um, so let's go ahead and go back to the motioning party on that. Mr. Johnson, there needs to be a modification on the governing council meeting from the 25th of November to add the bars. And I believe Mrs. Archuleta is willing to go ahead and add those bars.
Okay, all right, I'll I guess, restate my motion. I'll
So
motion
it's,
for,
I just want to explain to what I'm changing. So I don't know if I have access to the minutes, but this bar is the outdoor equity grant. It was approved and it's bar 009 IB. So that's the only thing we needed to change on these minutes.
Okay. Thank you, Mrs. Archuleta. Ms. Chowda, are you able to change that?
Maybe Lander has access. Is he
I'm
the one that uploads them?
Yeah, I can change them, not right now though. I can change, I'm pointing at it right now. Bar D, the outdoor equity grant. Can you give me that number again, Charlotte?
It's 0009 IB.
Okay, I can change it.
Okay, because the auditors look for those numbers when they read the minutes.
Okay, I can go back and do that. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mrs. Archuleta, and thank you, Nadine. So, Mr. Johnson, I don't know how you feel about just going concurring with the changes.
yeah, I'm fine with that.
Okay, all right. Well, with that being said, there is a motion by Mr. Johnson, and I will go ahead and second that motion as well. So, are there any questions or comments in reference to the approval of the three meeting minutes? If not, then we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Mrs. So, how do you vote? Mrs. So votes green. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Agreeing also.
Okay, thank you. With that, we have two governing council members approving the three meeting minutes that's indicated on the agenda. Zero opposition, zero abstention. So motion carries with 200. And thank you. And we should be able to see those changes hopefully by the end of the week to add those the bar numbers. If you have. Okay, moving on. Under F, public comments, a limit is 3 minutes. At this time, I don't have anyone that requested for a public comment. I'm not too sure if Nadine, if you received any request.
Madam Chair, I did not receive any requests to make comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So, for the new board member, Mr. Johnson, and with the possible new potential board member, Mr. Begay, this is something that we also had made, the previous board membership also had made these recommendations to um, provide a public comment for community members or for staff to make comments during our open meetings like this. So normally, if we do get a request, we'll invite the individual to make their comments. So, so that is on our agenda as well. So at this time, we don't have any requests, so we'll just go ahead and proceed on to item G, discussion and possible action items. So under A, we have a new member, Adam Jerome Begay. So I know that Mr. Begay had has an interest on serving on the Dream to Net Governing Council, and he did submit his letter of interest, and also he also provided his resume as well. So he will, we were going to confirm him last week to serve on, to be a potential or to be a potential board member. However, we didn't have it on the agenda. So at this time, we did include him on the agenda, and um, I guess before we um, make this an action item, I'd like to um, give an opportunity for Mr. Begay to introduce himself, and we'll go from there. Mr. Begay.
Yes, good evening, Chair and uh, colleagues on the board and Internet Charter School. Ja, era should be so Shay Adam John begin Shay. I was very touching in a slam. People Tony Bushchin, Tanas and it Shay, Auto Ashin Dashinale, and Anines and Asha. Good evening, family friends. My name is Adam Jerome McGay. I was a touching. I am born for Bibitoni. My Chays are the Tanazani clan, and my Nullies are the Ashihi clan. I am born and raised in a great community of Shiprock, New Mexico. I am 30 years old, and I have began my public service in 2015, coming up in my 10th year anniversary of being in both state and tribal politics. Um, my interest to be able to serve on the board of region or the board the governing council board for Green Dinet Charter School in Shiprock, New Mexico, is to be able to provide public service to the Navajo Charter Education to ensure the governing board roles and responsibilities are continuing to provide high quality education and cultural support to the students and faculty. I wholeheartedly believe that the Navajo education shall be the forefront of our community and the nation. As a former board member of the Board of Regent, Board of Education at Central Consolidated School District, I was a member of the board who supported the recognition and the collaboration between Dream Dinet Charter School and Central Consolidated School District. As I completed a 5-year term on the Board of Education with Central Consolidated School District, I went on to be the staff assistant to the Navajo Nation Vice President, Mr. Myron Lizer, in the Nez Lizer administration for the 4-year term. Upon my entry with the administration in February 2020, I started a new journey with education as I was provided to be a Board of Regents member to the Southwestern Indian Polytechnic Institute, also acronym as SIPI, in Albuquerque, New Mexico, which is a national tribal community college. There, I am currently serving as the chairman of the board of regents, along with 9 other tribal leaders from the Arizona, New Mexico, and Oklahoma tribes. To this day, I am transitioning into a new endeavor, and it's going to be with the state of New Mexico as a House representative liaison for the representative of Mark Duncan of Kirtland. To this day, I wish to continue to support the charter schools initiative and mission to providing culture, language, and basic learning opportunities for those currently enrolled and those who will enroll in the future. My commitment and passion for education is unwavering as I look forward to being part of the solution to our Navajo community's education. I look forward to be able to be a servant upon this governing council, along with few former colleagues that I have worked along with, such as Chairwoman Veronica So and member Kirby Johnson, and along with the unwavering, talented Talaba Begay. I look forward to be able to join this force as a opportunity to growth and strengthen and succeed our Navajo Dene language, culture, and education. And I truly support the board's recommendation to allow me to serve on this council.
I had Mr. Bigay do without a kitchen adult sensi do without a nonish in la do without a bahensen shizinigi aro ani a little I was able to serve as a colleague with you sitting at the state level as a board member with the public education department. So yeah, for that introduction. So and again, very focused on the leadership and the education readiness for the Dream Dine governing school. So yeah, Mr. Begay. So as we proceed, our next step would be I know that we only have two board members, and I'm not too sure if Taliba's on the call. I'm trying to do two things at the same time. Okay. So she's not on the call yet. So we still have Mr. Johnson and myself. So at this time, what is the pleasure of the governing council members on recommending Mr. Adam Jerome Begay to serve as a Dream Dinet governing council member?
I'll make the motion to accept uh, Mr. Begay as our new governing council member.
Okay. Thank you for motioning that. Um, I, Veronica, so do second that motion as well. Um, accepting Mr. Begay's and confirming his membership to the Dream Dine council member. Do we have any questions from the board members or any additional comments? If none, I'll go ahead, Mr. Johnson.
Oh, I don't have nothing.
Okay. With that, I'll go ahead and call for the vote. So, Mrs. Veronica So, how do you vote? Mrs. So votes green. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
I vote in green.
Okay, thank you. With that, we have two Dream Dine Governing Council member voting in favor of approving Adam Jerome Begay serving as a Dream Dine Council member with 0 opposition, 0 abstention. So motion carries with 200. Congratulations, Mr. Begay, for your confirmation to serve as our new member to the Dream Dine Governing Council. So at this time, you are officially on, so we can get your input, and you can also start voting tonight. So, congratulations. Yeah.
Wonderful. Yeah, Shema. Appreciate it very much, and look forward to being a great asset to this governing council. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, triage. Oh. Okay, so naslane kaho a under B a membership renewal a without a shizinigi a shizit still. So at this time, I'd like to go ahead and recuse myself from this particular item. So I would recommend Mr. Johnson to go ahead and take over from with this membership renewal for myself. It would be a conflict for me to confirm myself. So a day with so Mr. Johnson.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, all right, with that, we are on to um, B, membership renewal, which is for Veronica So. Um, we did receive your, what do you call it? Your letter of interests and all that. I did read that too. And is there a motion on the floor to have membership renewal for Veronica So?
Secretary Johnson, this is Member McGee. I would wish to approve the renewal membership for Miss Veronica So.
Okay, all right, thank you. And I'll second that motion. So are there any other comments, questions on this item?
No questions or comments? Thank you.
Okay, none
Um,
from me also. Oh, good.
Mr.
Veronica?
Johnson, I just have a comment. I just want to let board members and the people that are on the call know that this is one of our policy in our bylaws for Dream Dinner. So, um, for a continuation for board members to serve on the Dream Dinner governing board, um, after a board member has fulfilled their 2 years, they have they can opt in to get a renewal to continue their membership, or but if they want to do that, they have to submit a letter of interest. So that is in our bylaws. So um, after your 2 year term, that's what the process is. So I just wanted to that information out there. So if there's any questions of why um, getting my membership renewal, it's just a process that is in our bylaws, and the bylaws were established. I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, Nadine. I believe back in 2014, 2010.
2010.
Okay, 2010. So, thank you, Ms. Chato. So, we're just implement or following the guidelines of what's required. So, again, my confirmation will be good for 2 years. Thank you.
Okay, all right, thank you for that clarification. Okay, with that, I'll go to the vote. Kirby Johnson in favor, Adam Begay.
Member Begay votes yes.
Okay, with that, I have, is there a Talaba on the call? I don't see her. Okay, with that, I have 2 in favor, any opposed, none, any abstain, none. Okay, congratulations, Veronica, your membership's renewed, and I'll give you back the floor now. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to get some clarity on that too, as I will be voting abstain. So the count would be 201.
Okay, all right,
Okay. All
sorry.
right. Thank you. I don't, yeah. Thank you very much for the motion party and for the motioning parties to renew my membership for the next 2 years. I don't, yeah. I don't onkel spouse and di qua board members, a shiliat a. I really like it, and aro date. This is for the children that attend our school, and then also the community members. And aro amado jatan dinigito a what. So yeah, thank you. With that, we'll go ahead and move forward to item C, governing board assurances for the annual compliance requirements for indicator 3.C. So at this time, I'll go ahead and give the floor to Ms. Nadine.
Muted. Okay. All right, governing board members, this is an assurance that needs to happen at the beginning of the school year, and apparently we didn't have it corrected. Um, the the Public Charter Division went into an agreement with our school back in July of 2023, or I'm sorry, 2024. And out of that came this performance framework. There are specific indicators that we have to abide by, and we have to make sure that we are, it's like a checkoff list to make sure that we're doing what we need to be doing. And that's called indicator 3.C point compliance certification. And the public meeting that we're having right now is supposed to be involved with this discussion. So if we check on this, it tells us where we can go to get that information. Oh, there we go. Open the link. This is the performance framework out of the public charter or public education department. And here is the public charter school performance framework that we fill in. And then we usually go back during negotiations and talk about what we want to show to the public charter division as far as performance and proficiency. So in order to do all that, there's a whole bunch of compliances that we have to abide by. And again, this is the board's requirement to be in annual compliance. The annual checkoff list is here. This is what we kind of go by. Oops, it's gonna let me open it. All right. Oh, there we go. We got two of them. All right. So on here, if you notice on the top, it says business rules. These are the things that the school needs to be in compliance with. The school creates a safe environment and is in compliance with the charter contract. I sent everybody the charter contract. Mr. Begay, I'll send that to you following this meeting. Federal and state statutes and rules and the PED guidelines, unless waivers preserving charter autonomy are in place. So that's like an example would be that if we want to increase our numbers for the classrooms, we have to let the charter division know, and we submit a form for that. So that's what they're talking about when they say autonomy in our place. Business rules, the school complies with all requirements in the annual compliance checklist. So every year before school starts, we're supposed to go through that and talk about what may be deficient and what we can do to make those changes. Confirm compliance with PED. That was the form that we just had. We have to fill that out and submit it. Well, then the charter division will verify the compliance with the contract during the annual site visit and annual report process, which is going to happen here really soon. March 5th is going to be our annual site visit. So to update the compliance requirement each year, the charter division will only update the list of compliance requirements as required by the PED, PEC, or state and federal law. So we have to submit that by June 30th of each year. And then they go through it before they come to visit us, and they give us a meets standard, working toward it, or does not meet. Excuse me. So let me get out of this, and I'm going to show you I'm going to stop sharing because it won't let me go any further. All right, so. All right, can you see this now? Sorry.
Yes.
Can everybody see that? Okay, so down at the bottom, it has the 24-25 compliance list. And this is what we're supposed to be looking at. It's our mission statement. Is it implemented? Yes, so we do a checkoff list. Enrollment and grade levels checked. Amendments and notifications. The only notification that we have that's in place right now, and they need to vote on it, is the resignations from the governing board members. So that's the only one, amendments and notifications. And then the rest are administrative duties that I have to comply with. That would be something that I would do with the site visit when they come. So I'm just going to skip that and keep going. But you're free to go to the sites if you're interested in it. Like for instance, Indian education for schools, meeting definition. So every year when we get money, we have to make sure that we're spending the money where we're supposed to be sending. So we're supposed to be spending the money in the area that we budgeted for. And Charlotte and I go through those to make sure that that's happening. And this is where you can go, the site, to see what we do. There's a lot of different places on the public education website that you can kind of explore and see what's happening. There's a place there where you can see what kind of grants or the different kind of money that we're receiving. So just for your just heads up. And then the school policies developed and implemented. The annual visit is March 5th. So at that time, they're going to look to see what we've done, what we've submitted. So all in all, for the most part, the notification and amendments are the only thing pending. Does anybody have any questions?
Um, Nadine, this is
Yes,
Miss. So, um, when did you say that they were going to do a site visit? What was the date on that?
it's March 5th, 2025.
March 5th. Okay.
Yeah. I'm going to be meeting with the individuals that are coming on that day on Friday, just to give them a rough, well, they want to give me a list of what they're expecting to see and who they're expecting to talk to. So does anybody have any questions? Down here at the bottom where it says governing meeting, webcast, and archiving, we started on July 2024, and so far, I think we're doing pretty good. I mean, I go back and look at it every now and then. But I think,
Okay.
yeah, but I think the one thing that we need to try to get started again too are the minutes. They're supposed to be updated and put on the website, I think within 10 days of having the meeting. I can check that again too.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Miss Chato. Do we have any questions for Miss Chato or any comments in reference to the assurances? Okay, I
I don't have
guess.
any comments or questions. Thank you, Ms. Chatham.
You're welcome. I'll go ahead and fill this out, and then Miss So I will be meeting with you sometime tomorrow to get your signature on this, and then we can submit it to Epicenter. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Mr. Begay, do you have any comments or questions for Miss Nadine?
No, I do not have any further questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you. Otto, it's always good to revisit these assurances, and I do know that it is in our Google Drive, so um, that would be something for I guess Mr. Morris, if you can set up Mr. Begay as far as for him to have access to the Google Drive, and then also I guess to establish his email as well, a school email.
Yep, we'll get it. I'll get it done.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Morris. Okay. With that being said, this is not an action item. It's just it's a review of our annual compliance requirement for the indicators, and we do need to get that submitted right away. So I'll be meeting with Nadine tomorrow to get my signature so she can get that information out. And like I indicated, it's always good to go back to that. And also, there's also websites on there you can click on, and you can do further reviewing of what's expected. So, but as I indicated earlier, that we are trying to restructure our board membership now that we have two new board members on board. So next month we should be able to establish our role as who will be serving as the vice president and the secretary. So that will be on our agenda for next month. So um, yeah, Nadine for that report. So going down to letter D, and that would be the NISN, which is the NACA Inspired Schools Network agreement, the MOU agreement. So I know that was also shared with with the board members as far as the MOU agreement that's that we need to visit, and then that also needs to be, I guess, approved. So, again, Mr. Begay, you'll be able to have access to this as well. But at this time, I'll go ahead and give the floor to Miss Nadine to go over the MOU.
Thank you, Madam Chair. This MOU is an agreement with NACA Inspired Schools Network. And what NACA does is they support us as a charter division because they support us with uh, professional development. They're supporting us with recruiting efforts. There's just a lot of things that NISN has done to help. Last year, when we were going through reauthorization, they came in and gave us some things that we need to think about before we went and presented to the Public Charter Division. That was my first year doing anything like that at the state level, so it was really helpful that they were with us. They always try to make sure that, that they're reaching out to support us in any way. You notice here they talk about curriculum, they talk about assessments. There was a system that we use to house gosh, I can't even speak today. Sorry. To house student information. And then we also used NWA testing last year. And NACA helped us with paying the NWA fees, which was really helpful because of our budget. Charter school, we don't really make a whole lot of money, or we don't really generate a whole lot of money. And then also too, they helped us with the student information system. Today, we don't, they no longer help us with the student information system, but they do support us if we need additional, information about how it was done in the past. Lander's got a real good partnership with NISN and with Tyla, who worked with us last year. So there's just a lot of things that NACA helps us with. They're supporting Andrea, Ms. Thomas, with her coaching and building a mission-driven learning team so that we can continue with our Dene language culture and supports us with plant-based activities and learning. They are also a part of ACE program. So there's a lot of things, again, that NISN helps us with, and we just need to continue that partnership with NISN. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Chato. Board members, do you have any questions or comments for Ms. Chato? I just want to say something about this MOU, and what's nice about this MOU is they're really, and I know that Nadine just mentioned that as well, is they're really focusing on our school vision and mission statement, and just really providing technical assistance to our staff, as she indicated. I think a lot of it is. What's very important is the core values and the cultural, which is part of the agreement, and then also, um, I guess, the leadership with the education part, as Nadine mentioned, where the technical assistance that's helping our lead teachers there at the school. So I this MOU is very instrumental for Dream Dinner. So thank you, Ms. Chato. So at this time, if there's no other comments or questions from the board members, we'll go ahead and call for what's the pleasure of the board to approve the MOU?
Chairwoman, so This is Adam Begay.
Okay,
I
go ahead,
would
Mr. McKay.
I would like to approve the NISN motion to approve the NISN MOU agreement.
Thank you, Mr. Begay. There is a motion on the floor. Do I hear a second?
I would like to second. This is Kirby.
Okay, thank you. If there's no additional comments or questions in reference to the MOU agreement, we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Um, Mrs. So, how do you vote? I vote green. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
Green.
Mr. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Okay, thank you very much. We have three Dream the Net Council members approving the NISN MOU agreement with zero opposition, zero abstention. So motion carries with 3-0-0. Thank you for your votes. Moving on to letter E, discussion, which is the mission and vision statement, and then also the mission vision driven learning team. So I believe Nadine does have her team, which is her school team, if they want to go ahead and do the presentation. Miss
Okay,
Nadine?
thank you, Madam Chair. I'm going to let Andrea Thomas speak to the vision mission statement and the driven learning team. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chato. Good evening, Governing Council members. And so just to carry on from the NISN MOU agreement, in one of the items there, the support that Dream to Net is getting currently through NISN is through the mission vision driven learning teams. I'm going to go ahead and just share like the visual just to kind of help share out. I don't want to go too much in depth about it because it's a lot, but I do want to make sure that you guys have a good understanding, our new governing council members, as in the next month, our goal at Dream to Net is to hopefully make some updates to our mission statement. So basically, the past couple of years, previously last year, we were a part of a group with NISN in helping to support charter schools that are in the NISN network, small schools serving their communities and helping them to focus on these four big ideas. And so here is a visual. They talk about holistic wellness, identity development, being community-led, and academic relevance. And so with our current mission statement that we have at Dream to Net, and what our focus is, it encompasses those four big ideas. So as we continue to build on that, last year we were able to visit a couple of schools that are kind of leading the way in helping to make improve their schools and just take a different approach in helping to revitalize the language or the culture. We were able to visit a school in Minnesota, and then and so like and through the network we were all there to kind of learn and grow with each other. So the focus this year through the mission driven learning teams is to now say that we've learned and we've gained this knowledge through a book talk that we are participating in. We last year focused on street data, went through, talked about our school and the challenges our school has had, some of the goals, and how we are gathering data that's not the typical data that we see in assessments and other state data. So the focus this year now is that, as already having participated um, in the group this year, we would then take it into our schools. And so Nadine and I were a part of it last year. And now it's the goal for myself to go and share this with our team at Dream Dine. So I have two people that are a part of the team, and that is Joni Nels and Carrie Sells. So we have dived into street data, our book study. So we've been following through the guidance of NISN, where I meet with them regularly every month on Saturday through Zoom, and they help to guide us and support us of ways that we can share out what we're learning and delivering it out to teachers, and in hopes of kind of getting them to understand it too. So we're building the capacity and understanding how we can utilize the tools in ways to improve Dream Dine. And so one of the things that we're going to be doing moving into the next, sorry, where is it? Is looking at how, and we've been talking about it for a while. Last January, we, as a school, got together, invited family and community members, and asked them what ways we can improve our mission statement. So, as you may be aware, updating a mission statement on an ongoing basis, like revisiting it and see how it has changed or how it has evolved, makes it so that you're meeting the needs of the community and for student learning. And so what are the outcomes that we're wanting our students to have? So last year, we were able to get some feedback from our families and community and ways to improve our mission statement, so that when we start to create our capstones, our projects, and we start to say, okay, our students at Dream Dine, when they leave in 5th grade, what do we want them to leave with? What do we want to say that they've learned and they've are leaving the school and going into middle school, other than the academic piece, more so big picture of their the 4 big ideas: their holistic wellness, the academic relevance, the identity development, but also all of that being from the community, from the families, from the teachers, from people who are going to help us through that. So our big one of the big things we're going to do with the team, our mission-driven learning team, in January, is to host a talking circle with our families and community members, and we'll invite the governing council members as well, so that you can be a part of it. And so just to have a dialogue around what and there's like a set of questions that we go into, maybe their experiences of school, their understanding of what data is, how we can figure out what our students can demonstrate in their understanding, not just through academics, but just through their real practical, like, life experiences. And so we're going to do that, and in hopes of gathering more information, that more street data, they call it, that when we have our governing council retreat, we can bring that information back to you guys, and hopefully in collaboration, from hearing the feedback from the families, the community partners, and then from the staff, that we can update our mission statement so that we can start aligning what it is we're going to focus on for Dream Dine. That's going to go back to the mission statement. Yeah, so very briefly, I know there's a lot. I was trying to condense it, but let you inform you guys, because it is something that it's going to continue to come up, and would really like to have your cooperation and your participation, because it does involve all of us. It's not just the staff, and it's we want to hear from students, we want to hear from families, and we want to hear from other partners for the community who have a wealth of knowledge that they can offer to us. So I'll stop there. If you have any questions at this time, if not, I'll continue to update and we'll send out information for the talking circle in January.
Thank you, Andrea. Or Ms. Thomas. All right, give it back to you, Chair So.
Okay. Yeah. Thank you, Ms. Thomas, for sharing that your proposition for the talking circle, and it sounds like there's going to be a lot of collaboration, not only with the staff and the governing council, but with parents as well. So thank you for that, and I look forward to, and we look forward to being part of that talking circle next month. So, Najone, do I have any comments or questions from the board members? Okay.
I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Mr. Johnson, Nishan.
Shay, I got no comments, questions.
Okay. All right. Thank you. Thank you again. It's good to see this moving forward. So yeah. So no action item. So we'll just go ahead and proceed on to letter F, work session. Um, on there we have dates on that line item. So we have a lot of I guess you could say, as new board members, especially with the two new ones that are on board. Matter of fact, I know Talaba had just started here a few months back, a couple months ago. So I had shared this information with the administrator and informing her that we should do a work session, and she already had mentioned that as well. So so we decided to try to schedule a work session, and we just kind of wanted to get feedback from the governing council members as far as the dates that they could be available. But at this time, I'd like to go ahead and give the floor to Nadine so she can kind of let us know specifically what areas that we would really like to target during this work session. So, Miss Nadine.
Thank you, Madam Chair. We're looking, I just got through meeting with my staff earlier, and we looked at the calendar, and we would like to get our governing council members as well as our staff together to talk about some of the things, for instance, the vision mission statement, and just get a feel for what it really means and what we're really doing. And to go through policy, because I know we have the New Year's coming up pretty quick. I know we're only in January, but those 4 or 5 months come really fast, and we need to have a plan for our policy. Oh, sorry. The 17th, July 17th and July 18th are the 2 days that we're kind of looking at right now. We are really good as far as what instructional hours, instructional days, and we're planning on revamping the 17th to maybe a half day where we can get started on this work session. I put work session, but I was thinking maybe I should have said retreat. And then the place that we could do this would be at Farmington, probably San Juan College, rent a room, and then get all our information together. We can go through the policies, and then the teachers can let you know what we do in our classrooms. Because one of the other things too is that when we go through reauthorization and we go through the performance framework, not all our board members really understand what we do in our classrooms. So this would be a good opportunity to see what teachers are doing. That includes our Dine language teacher. and then the programs that support it. So January 17th and 18th, unless anybody has a different date that they would rather work with. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Ms. Chato, for that information. And I know that we do have 4 board members, and right now we have 3 on the call. I am available on the 17th and 18th. I'm open. I'm not too sure of the other 3. So I guess, do you want us to let you know right now, or um,
No, this is not
okay?
ASAP.
Okay.
Maybe we could get some dates by the 20th, by Friday. So you just reach out to me or reach out to the school and just leave a message.
Okay. All right, that sounds great. So Mr. Begay, Mr. Johnson, and I don't know if Talaba's on the call or not, but if you want to just shoot an email to Ms. Chato as far as your availability in the month of January. So again, she had mentioned the 17th and 18th, but then we also have the 24th and 25th. So I'm not too sure, but um, so just reach out to her via email. Okay, so no action item on that. That's just information. Um, so we'll just go ahead and move forward to the next item, and that would be G, financial school budget report. So we do have Charlotte. Are you still on the call, Charlotte? Oh,
I
yes,
am.
she is. Okay, so at this time, you may proceed with your report.
Okay, in the month of November, we received $98,012.79. Our total year-to-date revenue is $383,664.54. And 89,165.39. This is the activity in the month of November. And I will need to get the new board members' email addresses so I can send them financials. And just go ahead and stop me if you have any questions. This is the bank reconciliation. These are the items that reconciled in the month of November. These are the outstanding checks, $14,853.65. These are GL detail for the month of November. And this is our reconciliation showing 0 variance, which means our bank reconciled. But this was our expected GL, and this is what our GL is. This is a statement of revenue and expenditure by fund. And here's our revenue. Our total is $383,664.54 year to date. And our expenditures is $436,268.09. This is the November statement of revenue and expenditures. This is the revenue and expenditures by fund. We received $98,012.79, and our expenditures was $151,743.78. And our expenditures were high because we did have 3 payrolls in the month of November. Any questions?
Thank you, Mrs. Archuleta, for your presentation. Again, I know that Adam a lot of this information will be sent to you again. So I don't have any questions right now or any comments, but Kirby or Mr. Johnson and Mr. Begay, I don't know if you have any questions for Mrs. Archuleta. Atenla. So I guess we um,
Okay, I'll continue then if there's no questions.
okay. You may proceed.
This is the list of our purchase orders. And in the month of November, we had two. We had Bottom Line, which is a company that is helping us with some funding. It's our ERC funding, Employee Retention Credit funding, and the auditor's purchase order. And I also sent this out, and there is a tab with the detail for all the purchase orders. Just stop me if you guys have questions. Now I'm gonna present the bars. Bar 0007I is our community schools county engagement. It's additional funding we received. It's for $24,080. And we put it towards additional compensation for to pay stipends to the staff to attend professional development. We put it towards a 58,000 towards our community schools coordinator, which is also a part-time IT person. The benefits, and that's it. The total is 24,080. So the amount that says adjustment amount is the amount of the bar. So it's 969, 20,000, 1,065, and 50, 44, 45, 24. And the next bar is bar 008I. This is increased bar in our operational, and this is the employee retention credit. This is an additional funding that we applied for a couple years ago, and it's coming through now from the IRS. And I expended it out towards all the items we need. We had additional professional development, additional legal fees, additional salary in the school administration support. I put it into the rental land and building and other contract services for maintenance that we've had and IT services. Okay, those are the two bars, and I have a couple of journal entries. Journal entry 15104. This is to reclassify from Fund 2419 to the Fund 24106, which is our special ed idea B fund, and it was to use up the grant so that I could submit the RFR, which I did, and we've already been paid for it. And the backup is here on under sheet 1. I'm just gonna keep going unless you guys stop me. The next is the journal entry number 115 1119 and it's reclassified for budget meetings from 11,000 to 2,100. And the backup is right here. And it's also to reclassify these, there are a bunch of different grants. It just must have cut it off here. But it's from the 1,000 to the 24,113, and this is to use up budget from 27,906 to 11,000. And from 27,901 to 11,000. Any questions? Okay, that's the list of boards and financial. And there's another thing I wanted to let the board know that I'm going to put in the chat a link to the board training, and it's free and it's online. It's a virtual training, so I'll put the link before the end of the board meeting in the chat. Any questions on the financials?
This is Mrs. So I don't have any questions. And I do know that um, the new board members are familiar with financial budget reports, and in the training that you had mentioned, um, if you could share that with us, yes, definitely, and we can also get that information to Talaba as well.
Sure.
So thank
I'll
you, but
chat
I
in the
don't
chat.
have any questions or comments. Board members?
I don't have any comments or questions. Just thank you.
Member Brigade, I have no questions or comments. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, board members. So at this time, I'd like to um, request to get the school financial report approved with what Mrs. Archuleta had presented.
Okay. Do you want me to do G 1, 2, 3, 4? Is that the typical motion?
If you want to motion it that way, that would be great.
Okay. All right. This is Kirby Johnson. I motion for financial school budget reports for 1, 2, 3, and 4 to be approved or to accept the report.
Okay, that would just be 1, 2, and 3.
Oh, you
Before
didn't
we,
do 4.
yeah, before we call for the vote on this, or what, before we motion on this, Charlotte, do you have anything for any new grants that needs approved?
Oh. I did share the link for the board members in the chat.
Okay, okay. So there's the training schedule. But do you have anything for grant, any new grants that needs approved?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. Thank you, Mrs. Archuleta. So, Kirby or Mr. Johnson, I'm sorry. There was a motion on the floor.
Okay. So I guess with my motion, I'll just do 1, 2, and 3. And since there are no any new grants for approval, I'll just do those 3 items in my
Okay.
motion.
Okay. Thank you, Mr. Johnson, for motioning to approve item 1, 2, and 3 under financial report. Do I hear a second?
My chairwoman, So, this is Member BJ. I wish to second that.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begay, for seconding that motion. Do we have any questions or comments relating to the financial budget report? If none, then we'll go ahead and call for the vote. Mrs. So, how do you vote? Mrs. So votes green. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
I vote green also.
Thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote in favor.
Thank you, Mr. Begay. So with that, we have three Dream Dine council members voting in favor to approve the financial school budget report under item 1, 2, and 3 that was presented by Mrs. Archuleta with zero opposition, zero abstention. So motion carries with 300. Thank you again, Mrs. Archuleta, for your presentation. So with that, we'll go ahead and move forward to letter H, governing council committees. So for the new board membership, this is something that we do on a monthly basis. We do have committees that will need to be reestablished with the new membership. So this will take an effect next month. So and so we do have a finance committee, and then we also have an audit committee, facilities committee, and a grievance committee. So when we have all of our four board members present, um, we can appoint these your positions to one of these committees, and we always ask that we have one individual to serve in one of these committees. So again, we have to be very careful when we do this. We don't want to constitute a quorum in these committees. So at this time, um, going back to one under finance committee, I currently serve as on the finance committee as a chairperson. So I don't have any reports other than that. Other than we normally schedule a 1 hour meeting prior to our regular board meeting, and today I just informed Mrs. Archuleta that um, we won't be meeting as a committee for tonight or for today. So she was just going to do her presentation during the board meeting. So, but I don't have any questions under finance committee or anything to report. Our audit committee, we those that committee is we need to fill those positions, like I indicated with the audit and facilities, and then the grievance as well. So, with that being said, we'll just go ahead and move forward. And again, next month we will establish the membership to represent one of those committees. Going down to 5, governing council training. All governing council members need to complete 5 hours of training, and that one will just apply to me just because I am um, a seasoned, I guess, member of the governing council. Um, but all board members are required to take training either in leadership or the new board members are required to take the board ethics training, and then also I'm trying to remember new board orientation, and there's several trainings that are available, and Mi- and Ms. Chowder will be able to get that information via email to you, so you can look at those training um, the training, so you can sign up for that as well. And again, Mr. Begay, you should be able to have access with all this by the end of the week. So And then again, just a gentle reminder that all new board members will be required to do an 8-hour training. And Ms. Chowdo, if you can gently remind us for the new governing council members, when do they need to complete their training?
Um, Madam Chair, this is Chato. I'm not really sure. I think you have to get it done before the next school year. Usually everybody tries to get it done before December, but I can find that out. I'm sorry, I don't have that answer right now, but I will find out. Thank you.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So just check your email. And I just wanted to, or your school email. And that's something that I wanted to also share is as board members of Dream Dine, we really encourage you all to use the school email just because, with information that's being sent out by the school administrator or the public education department, it's always best to practice using your school email rather than your personal email. So I just wanted to share that. So again, no action item on the governing council training. So we'll just go ahead and move forward to letter H, facilities and land. Miss Nadine, I don't know if Troy has provided any written updates with you.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Facilities and land, we don't have any updates right now. The only thing that I think last month is we were talking about getting a survey for that particular area, the 3.02 lot that we are trying to secure for Dream Dene. Um, I will try to reach out to Mr. Hunt again. I believe he's on travel right now. Didn't answer any of my emails. I'm looking at it. So yeah, we'll find out more. But as far as I'm understanding right now, we're just waiting for that area to be surveyed. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Chado. Just a recommendation. We'd like to, I would recommend to have Mr. Or Troy um, be on our agenda next month to provide a presentation just because we do have new board membership and they need to um, I guess we need to share the information with them as to what our future school is going to where our future school is going to be located and um, where we're at and just receiving a lot of updates. So if you could just reach out to Troy and let him know that he'll need to do a presentation because we do have 3 new board members. So okay, thank you. Going down to item I, student enrollment, Ms. Chatto.
Um, Thank you, Madam Chair. Student enrollment at Dream Dene Charter is 18. We're gonna have to go back and look because according to the NOVA, it does not, it's not correct. So from my understanding, we still have 18. Do you want me to go ahead and go into my report?
Yes, you may.
Okay. All right, good evening, everyone. We have 18 students. We are servicing them all in one classroom. We have 2 educational assistants who are working with Miss Thomas to provide additional support services for the kindergarten, first grade, second grade, and I believe fifth grade. So we're trying to manage as far as, what getting the needs of our students met. We also have special ed services and speech through the 2 programs called Talk Path Live and ACES, Educational Services. We have only 2 students who require speech services. Um, we are recruiting for more students at the moment in the San Juan County area. Um, we have passed out, one of our initiatives is we're passing out flyers. We're meeting with community members and we're asking for, I believe we're on a couple of chapter house agendas right now. So we'll be out visiting with chapter houses, just giving them some information about Dream to Knit. We are also working with AmeriCorps, and they are helping us get the information out on social media and on radio. Again, NACA Inspired Schools again is offering their support. One of the things that we talked about with their representative was to get a mobile billboard out here. We could do it maybe once or twice next semester. And what we do is they put information about our school on these billboards, and then they drive them around all over Shiprock, which I think is a little cool idea. I don't think we've ever done anything like that before, or we haven't seen anything like that in the Shiprock area. Dr. Shepard and Mr. Warren both are working on the Christmas program right now, and it'll feature our mission-driven projects. So students learn different and create different projects. They'll be presenting those during our Christmas celebration, which you guys are invited to. I believe we're still working on the agenda. This gathering is going to happen on Thursday, this Thursday, the 19th, and we have all our students are going to be a part of that. Mr. Johnson, you have your hand raised.
Yeah, I was just thinking like the mobile billboard, is that kind of like what they have in Vegas when they're driving down the strip?
Yes, you're absolutely absolutely right. That's what they're going to have. So hopefully, a lot of people will be able to see that. I believe they do it for a whole day. So NACA's going to flip the bill for that. Thank goodness. They've just been so helpful. So hopefully we'll get new students. I mean, we're constantly recruiting. We have a plan set in place, but right now there's an urgency and we're just trying to get those flyers out. Our Dene language and culture, we have our pacing guide. Now we're just trying to build on it. So that's taken a lot of work, a lot of patience. I know everybody's got different ideas, but I think we've all come to an agreement that, certain things need to be in there and certain things probably don't need to be in there. When it comes to culture, there's just so many things that we really have to be sensitive about. The mentorship program is still on hold. This program is also coming out of the state of Public Education Department, State Department, and from NACA. It's a big, huge grant, and for some reason they have it on hold. But it's a mentorship program that has been brought to several schools where the main teacher teaches and mentors like the educational assistants, and they're the ones who come back maybe a couple months later and they take the 520 license test. We had one individual, Mr. Warren, who took it last year and passed. So we've got a 520 licensed teacher there. We're just trying to build on that, and we want to be the hub to do that. Plant-based learning right now, we recruited a couple of Shiprock farmers during the market season who shared information about their farms, and we're working with ACE to get our students to these particular farmers to learn more, just to see what's going on in each, I believe the farms that are in Shiprock, they all have different types of vegetables that they grow depending on their location, and they'll talk to the kids about, the cultural aspect of it too as well. Excuse me. Hold on, you drink water. All right, the ACE program provides rich cultural experiences to all our students, supporting our community, our families. They also joined with the Hummingbird Parent Advisory Committee and shared some information about what they can offer for the school year 24-25. There's a plethora of activities and things that the kids can do. One of them has already started. Shema Storytelling, Red Millicody, comes in twice a month and works with our kids and teaches them how to do some songs and teaches them stories and how they can create their own stories, which is just really phenomenal because I don't think our students really have that opportunity to create their own stories. It's a really good program. They're going to be assisting us this Thursday with our Christmas program. They're going to provide the food, the location, and they're going to talk to parents again about upcoming events. We have a big one coming up in March. We have, the focus last year was government, and this year we want to keep that focus. We wanted our students to understand the process of government, what it entails, because we have a lot of we're right next to the chapter house, and we have a lot of people who come and vote and not quite sure what that means. And I know with the new administration in Washington, D.C., we want to get that we want to get a little more understanding for our students. So we're thinking about taking our students to Washington, D.C. in March during spring break. And of course, the ACE program is going to fully fund that visit. And then we're going to be meeting with some other tribes as well. We have the ice station progress monitoring occurring right now. No, I'm sorry. We usually do that very beginning of the month to progress monitor our students and see how they're doing, if they need some additional support in different areas. And then we also have the NWA, the middle of the year assessments that's going to be happening. Ms. Thomas will be sharing those results at our next meeting in January. Again, we have a recruiting effort at the PAC committee. We want to have at least one parent representative on the governing board. And so that's something we're really pushing for. Every time we go to the PAC meetings, we ask if anybody's interested. So that's something that we're going to be working on. This past PAC meeting, the students and parents came to the school. We gave them snacks, hot cocoa, tea, and we talked about string games. Dr. Shepard led that activity. It was really a fun time for the kids. And then our leadership team, we still come together for PLCs. We discuss student performance. We talk about ways that we can help our students that are struggling. And then we also are having our next, I mentioned this earlier, our annual charter visit, the site visit. I believe there's like 3 or 4 individuals that come, and they just kind of monitor what we do. Whatever we have written in our performance framework, whatever the compliances are, that's what they're going to be looking at. And they give a report at the end, and we go through it. I'm sorry, I'm about to lose my voice. So if you have any questions, you can contact me. The phone number is 368-2500. Thank you.
Yeah, Ms. Chado, without presenting la, and it's always um, it's always good to have a written report, and I know she does provide that. And there's a lot of things that the school is providing for the students, and then also for the parents as well. So, and I know the staff are doing a great job there, and I really appreciate that because it really reflects back on the reporting that was just presented. So um, I do have some questions, but I don't want Nadine to lose her voice, so I'll just save my question. But at this time, board members, do you have anything that you'd like to share, or if you have a question or any comments?
I
Then
don't
go.
have any comments or questions. No, thank you.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson. Mr. Begay? Okay, and again, Mr. Begay, you'll be receiving the head administrator's report via email as well, and usually it's done a few days before our meeting. So thank you again, Ms. Chato, for your presentation. So with that, we'll go ahead and move down to letter K, Parent Advisory Committee. And rather than having Nadine do that, maybe Miss Thomas will be able to kind of help her out by doing a presentation for the pack. Miss Thomas.
Hi. Yes, I have two people actually, Miss Nels and Marla will be taking over this. Thank you.
Thank you. Ladies, you may proceed.
Hello, my name is Joni Nels. For those that are new to the board, Nato Dine Tachini Nishle, Tabaham Bashichin, Todachini Dashachain, Ashin Dashanale. So kind of just been there for support to Marla and I'm the EA and just helping with the HPAC. And right now we have one person who volunteered to be the secretary for the pack, and so far the other positions have not been filled, or we don't have any nominees for those positions. And that's all I have. And Marla, you can fill in the rest. Thank you. Okay, good evening. My name is Marla Lansing. I am the office manager for Dream Dine Charter School. I'm also a parent. And just a little update on the HPAC. We have been providing information to the parents with updates that are happening on campus, upcoming events, and just really getting the word out there, doing the best we can to get our school out there and increase our enrollment. We had talked to parents about, letting anyone that they know, give them information about Dream Dine, maybe anybody who's interested in coming to Dream Dine and enrolling their child, they're more than welcome to. We're also trying to boost our parent involvement as well. I know it's a struggle to get parents involved in their child's education and school involvement. So we're really doing the best we can to get that going and moving. And so far, it's been going well. I know it'll get better. So yeah, that's what we're working on. That's all I have.
Okay. Thank you, Marla and Miss Nails, for providing the update with the PAC team or with the PAC committee. I just have just one request for the Parent Advisory Committee. If you could just share your date, the dates of your meeting, and just I guess send the information via email to the board members, so then we kind of have an idea of when you have your meetings. So that's just a request. And again, thank you very much for the report. So, before we go down to the next governing council member, there is a request by one of our board members if Nadine is able to provide updates on test scores and assessments for the beginning of the year and the middle of the year. So, Miss Nadine, I don't know if you're still on the call. If you could provide that information.
Yes, definitely I can. I will send that out to all the board members by the end of the week.
Okay, thank you. Yeah, so board members, you'll be able to receive the update on the test scores and assessment. So just check your email. With that, we move forward to the next governing council meeting. So, as we look at our calendar and we go back to our bylaws, our meeting is usually the fourth Monday of the month. So, we are looking at January 27th. That would be our next board meeting, January 27th at 6 o'clock. And again, our board meetings, our governing council meetings are hybrid model. You can do in person or you can do it via Zoom. So we have that option. And but just keep in mind, due to the due to weather that's unpredicted, we just kind of have to play it by ear if we want to meet in person or if you want to do Zoom. So we're going to keep it hybrid just for the safety of our staff members and then also our governing council members as well. Um, Going down to letter M, closing comments. Do we have anyone that would like to provide a closing comment? Again, this is open to staff member or board member.
Madam Chair, I can say something. Oh, go ahead, Joni. Were you going to say something?
Um, yeah, I was just gonna let her know that the PAC meetings are every second Tuesday of the month, and the next one's gonna be January 14th. Also, we have um the agendas for that. For the past ones, I don't know if she would like those, but I can send those if you want it, Madam Chair.
That is fine. You can send it to all the board members. That'd be great. Thank you very much.
Okay.
Ms. Chato?
Yes, I was just going to say thank you to everyone who's been on the meeting, and thank you for board members for taking on this responsibility as being a board member for Dream Dene Charter School. We are very, very fortunate to have these individuals serving and supporting our school. And we also want to say Merry Christmas to everyone. We hope you have a fantastic time with your family, and hopefully nobody gets sick. So anyway, thank you so much to everyone. You guys all have a great evening.
Eke Ms. Chato for the closing comment. Ado ani with Shisazinigi as a chairperson. Ayisabaki Henson Dikwa na Kigong Binanil so Dikwa board membership at Ninigi. Ani Anand Atle. It can be challenging, especially if you have other, if you're committed to other committees and if you're working. I can totally relate and understand that. But again, I really appreciate, the board members for volunteering your time, serving in the capacity of being a leader with Dream Dene. In addition to that, also the staff, I can't thank the staff enough for all they do, as far as um, being in the classroom, serving lunch, transporting students, even going back to working with the budget, the teachers, you name it. I appreciate each one of you. And I also want to wish each and every one of you a Merry Christmas and also to really watch your well-being as well. Be careful, as we know that COVID is still among us, so just be very careful. So, ideya. So, with that being said, we just need to adjourn the meeting. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Chair, this is Member Begay. I would like to motion the meeting to be adjourned.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Begay, for motioning to adjourn the meeting. Do I hear a second?
This is Board Member Johnson. I'll second.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Johnson, for seconding that. So we adjourned the meeting at 7:57, and I'll go ahead and call for the vote. Mrs. So, how do you vote? Mrs. So votes green. Mr. Johnson, how do you vote?
I voted green also.
Mr. Begay, how do you vote?
I vote in favor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, board members. So we have 3 governing board members adjourning to voting in favor to adjourn the meeting at 7:57 with 0 opposition, 0 abstention. So motion carries with 300. Again, thank you, Ahiahat, and good night.
Merry Christmas, everybody. Good night.
Thank you. Have a great night. Merry Christmas. Happy New Year.
I just say ditto. I'm just kidding.
Hagonet. Shanat Anis. Is that right? Did I say that right? Oh my gosh, I'm gonna go take some more cough medicine. See you guys later.
Good night. Take medicine. Good night. Merry Christmas.